everybody, welcome to our channel, welcome to a new video. Just do a quick room tour. Lovely. So as you can see, we are on holiday, so we're in Cyprus. It is Jack's birthday today. Happy birthday, Jack. It is Sunday the 21st of September. And we got here late last night, / early hours of this morning. We've just been chilling by the pool this morning, just come back to the room because I was a little bit peckish, so we just went to the shop and got some water, some fritters, ham, no, salami, cheese.
A few little bits.
A few little snacks, so I just made myself a little bit of food. And we're just going to go and inquire about the gym and the sauna, steam room, spa, that kind of thing. Probably chill by the pool again. Tomorrow we've got food tasting.
Yes.
In the morning. Tuesday we're going to go to the water park. Wednesday's my birthday and we're probably just going to have a chilled one again. Thursday we've got a boat trip, and Friday we've got another chill day at the moment, and then Saturday same. So we've got a few days where we could book on some last minute morning excursions, but yeah, we just thought we would start the video now, so we will check in with you guys in a bit. It's now the evening and we have just got ready for the evening. We are going to walk to Coral Bay because Jack went for a run today, and he basically ran that way and he said it was about 3k, just over 3k. So this is what we're wearing tonight. I'm just wearing my beloved skort. This is actually from Primark, bodysuit from Quiz. Jack's wearing his top. Is that next?
No, it's Ralph Lauren, I think.
Oh yeah, big spender, Ralph Lauren, and then just shorts, probably from Steel and Jelly maybe or something.
Yeah, something like that.
So we're just gonna
then
head out to dinner.
Hello everybody. I just thought that I would give a little bit of a story time for our holiday. So we had every intention of filming a full holiday video. However, I feel like everybody knows that when you go on holiday, you tend to go to chill. So a lot of the time is spent by the pool, so it's pretty boring. There's not really much to film. But also we did actually go with family, so it made it even more difficult to film because obviously all of our exciting times we were spending with other people, and we were obviously just trying to be in the moment and we wanted to use it as a complete switch off time. However, I do feel really bad that there's not going to be an official holiday video, so I decided to basically compile a little bit of a video of pictures, and then thought that I could just fill in the gaps and make it a bit of a crappy holiday video, but it's because we didn't really do that much, so that's okay. So evening one, as you will see, we said that we were going to walk to Coral Bay, which was 3k from our hotel. We stayed at the Theo Sunset Bay Hotel, or Theo Bay Sunset Hotel, I can't remember. I've got a clip with the name of it on the screen in this video. So as we were walking from our hotel, literally maybe like 200 meters down the road, there was Sense by the Beach, which is like a beach club, and it was very close to our hotel. We were all a little bit hungry, so we decided to stop in there for dinner. So we all had something from there. I had chicken and potatoes. I think Jack had a burger. Again, there's a clip. So that's what we did evening one for food. We then did walk to Coral Bay. However, it was a hard shoulder, but the hard shoulders out in Cyprus, probably like most other places in Europe, are really small. It was probably like that wide. And there was a little bit of a dirt path along the side of it, but it was very up and down. The road dropped off in quite a few places. It was very sketchy. And the ironic thing is that there was literally a bus stop that we could have just got the bus and it would have taken us like 5 minutes. However, as you guys know, me and Jack are very active people, so we thought, well, we'll just walk. And to be fair, had we not gone with family, we would have persevered, but on the way down we were getting a lot of beeps from all of the people on the road. It was obviously pitch black, there was no street lights, we only had the torches on our phone. It just wasn't worth risking our life for. So we did walk there because we'd already committed to it, but we got the bus back. And then we discovered that the bus was basically €2 in the daytime for a single, €3 for a night single. I think it was after like maybe, I don't actually know, to be fair. I was going to say after like 8, but I really don't know, so don't quote me on that. But anyway, it was €2 to go in, €3 to come back, or they did a day pass of $6.50. Obviously says it on the tin, it's a day pass. So when we knew that we were going to be going out more than once in a day, we got the day pass, and when we knew that we were only going out for food in the evening, we got a single one at return because it worked out cheaper. So went to Coral Bay on the first day, went to a pub, grabbed a drink. I had a cocktail. It had like banana liqueur in it. Oh my god, it was awful. It was so strong. I actually had to go and ask them to put a little bit more lemonade in it because I'm not a big drinker, and it was just so strong it was unenjoyable. So played a bit of Uno, and then obviously had to stop off at an ice cream parlour because Jack loves ice cream so much. He is a gelato fan. He just loves it, especially with all the different flavours. So yeah, did that. Then tried to get the bus back, but they wouldn't let him on with his ice cream. Fair enough. So we had to wait for another bus back. Did a little bit of souvenir shopping, and that was night one. So that was Sunday. That was Jack's birthday. Yeah, that was Jack's birthday. Then Monday, we were supposed to go food tasting. However, on Sunday afternoon, they cancelled. And unfortunately, it was too late for us to then book onto anything else because there was obviously insufficient notice. And all of these kind of tours and things like that, you need at least 24 hours notice, I think, for them to even book you on, but obviously to cancel and stuff like that. So that was a little bit annoying because had they cancelled it earlier, then we might have been able to get something else in, but we couldn't. So that was fine. So we had Sunday by the pool, we had Monday by the pool. Monday evening, we went back to Coral Bay, did we? No, Monday evening we went to Paphos town, which was a bus in the other direction, and oh yeah, this is a story time. We didn't have any plans for dinner, so it was like, right, okay, let's just walk to the town. And it was like a 20-minute walk, and I'd worn sandals because of the hoo-ha the night before with walking along the main road. I was like, right, we're getting the bus, and we could just get off the bus, and then there's not going to be much of a walk because all these other places me and Jack have gone on holiday, you don't have to walk that far to get to the restaurants. Anyway, 40-minute walk later, I had a cut on the top of my foot because the sandals, not made for walking, brand new, had rubbed and made a hole in my foot. So that was really annoying. But we ended up going to this place called Nola, which was actually really, really reasonably priced, and the food was unreal. We all had burgers, and yeah, it was well worth the blister, to be honest with you. I think Jack had a milkshake as well, and I had a smoothie. But yes, that was like Monday night. Tuesday we went to the water park, didn't get any clips at all of the water park, gutted because Jack was in his absolute element. He loves water parks so much. I'm not so keen on water parks, and after last year when we went to Crete, I got water trapped in my ear and I couldn't hear for probably about 3 weeks, and I actually had to get my ear syringed in the end. So I was really, really paranoid anyway, but also I've got a condition with my eyes, and I'm just really, really paranoid about anything going near my eyes. So I actually bought myself some goggles on the Monday because I really wanted to do a little bit more in the pool and swimming, and I used to be such a water baby when I was growing up. But I guess when you don't do it, you almost get this fear towards it. But anyway, I've had the goggles, so on the water park, on all the rides, I had my goggles on, I was loving life, all the water was spraying at me, but I couldn't feel it because I had the goggles on. Great. So that was really good. But we did have a little bit of a nightmare getting the bus back. So the reason we went on the Tuesday was because when I was looking online, it said that the bus only ran to the water park on Tuesdays and Fridays. But then I found out that was the actual water park transfer. The normal bus went every day. So that's annoying because we could have done that on the Monday when our plans were cancelled, and then done something else on the Tuesday. Anyway, so we were waiting for the bus, and we waited probably 25 minutes and the bus never came. So we're like, this is annoying because it's like so hot between the hours of 2 and 4. It was between 2 and 4 o'clock. It was so hot. So we decided to walk up from the water park to like the main street to get any other bus because we just needed to get back to the bus station, and that tended to be where all the buses went. So we were like, okay, we've waited 25 minutes, the bus hasn't come, let's walk and get the next bus. Of course, as we left the bus stop and we're about halfway, the bus came and we missed it, and we then couldn't get to the bus stop in time before it looped back round. So that was so annoying because we then had to basically wait an extra half an hour, and what was meant to be like a 20-minute journey took us 2 hours. So that was less than ideal because it ate into our pool time that day. So that was annoying, but hey ho, never mind, you know, it's our fault for leaving the bus stop. So that was Tuesday. Tuesday night we went to Coral Bay again for dinner, and we had, I think it was more of like it wasn't a Cypriot restaurant, but it was more that kind of stuff. So I had salmon and veg, Jack had ribs, they did like lamb shank, they did all of these kind of signature like chicken dishes with sauces, all of these fancy things that, yeah, so that was okay. You can't really go wrong with salmon, so it wasn't my favourite meal. It was actually my lowest ranked meal of the whole trip, to be honest with you, only because it was just a bit, it said all of the dishes came with veg and chips, but it was veg and chips to share, and the portions were like really small. So I had my small bit of salmon and then not much veg. So I was a little bit underwhelmed by that, but you live and you learn. So that was Tuesday. Wednesday was my birthday, and we had no plans for Wednesday, but we last minute were contacted, or you know, we were looking at things to do, and there was availability to go and do a mosaics tile thing activity in Paphos town. So we went along to that. It was Sharon Taylor Mosaics. She actually used to live in England and moved out there, I think she said 37 years ago. But that was really fun, and actually probably the highlight of my trip. It was so good. We actually managed to bring something back that we had made, so that was really cool. And some of the stuff that she created was just insane. So we did that in the day, but again, the only availability was an afternoon slot, so it was kind of annoying because it meant that we were out like at the best part of a day, and then it was like 1:30 till 3:30, so we didn't have any lunch or anything like that, so we were starving by the time we finished there. So again, of course, got an ice cream because it would be rude not to. But yes, that was Wednesday. Wednesday night we went to Coral Bay again, and we had a curry, and again, it was okay, the food, but our local curry here is so much better, in our opinion. So that was fine. So that was Wednesday. Thursday, we had a boat trip. So the boat trip basically included the Blue Lagoon, the Edro 3 shipwreck, Baths of Aphrodite. We went to a place called Lachi and Polis, and we then finished up in a restaurant which they must have some sort of partnership with, I don't know, but I had garlic prawns and chips and whatever, and Jack had calamari, I think, and he had baklava for dessert, and I had chocolate mousse. It was so rich, really nice, but so rich. And we both had halloumi to start as well. So that was that. We thought the boat trip was good, however, you know when these things are almost dragged out a little bit. So we were picked up at 8:45 in the morning, and we were actually one of the last pickups. There was maybe only 3 after us, 2 or 3 after us. So for us, that's actually surprising, because usually we're the last drop off and first pickup with transfers and things. But anyway, so did that. We went to the banana plantation first, which had the Edro 3 shipwreck thing as well, and some sea caves. So we were there, and then we had about a 15-minute drive to somewhere else. I can't even remember what we did there. And then we had like a 40-minute drive to the boat. Got on the boat, had about 30 or 40 minutes sail in to the Blue Lagoon. They dropped us off there for about an hour, but there was no shore where the boat dropped us off, so you had to get off the boat and basically just swim or float, you know, and just stay afloat for an hour, which was obviously a long time. But they did make a point of saying that if you were wet, then they weren't going to let you back on the bus. So I got out fairly sharpish because my bikini had padding in it, so I knew that it wasn't going to dry if I spent the whole hour in the sea. But also, I'm not a massive open water fan. I went to Canada in 2019, and I went whitewater rafting with my brother and my granddad, and there was one point of the raft trip where they said, sorry, let me just put my phone on mute, where is it, here, where they said, oh, this is a really good opportunity to swim, like you're not going to get this opportunity again. And I got out and the bloke said to us, basically it's like a washing machine, so the waves are going to come up and then down. So when they come up, breathe in, and when they go down, breathe out. So I then said to my brother, oh, that wasn't that bad. And as I was saying it, the wave hit me, so I was choking on the water. I then couldn't catch my breath to then manage all these waves. The raft then went on top of me and I started to sink, even though we had life jackets on. And obviously I just really panicked. And the guy actually said, I just had to hope that you came back up because there was nothing that I could do. We then had to go kayaking on that same river the very next day, kayaking solo. And everybody got capsized basically, except for me. I basically had a panic attack on the water and had to get out and go on the boat. So ever since then, I've had a massive fear of open water. I really don't like it when I can't feel underneath me. And I especially don't like big waves and stuff like that. And like I say, since getting the water trapped in my ear, I just really don't enjoy the water, to be honest. But again, the Blue Lagoon is like amazing. We did it, I did it in 2019 when I went to Malta with my mum and brother. And it's just one of those things, isn't it, that you tick off the list. So anyway, did a little bit of swimming in the Blue Lagoon. Jack did a couple of swims back into the shore. And then the boat also had a slide, so he was going down that a few times. And then we sailed back again, and we got back on the bus, went to Lachi and the Baths of Aphrodite, walked around the Baths of Aphrodite a little bit. There was a bit of a souvenir shop, and then we went and finished off at this restaurant where we were there for like an hour and a half. And we both said that we probably could have just called it a day after the boat trip and then gone and done Baths of Aphrodite kind of in our own time, because it just felt like we were on the bus for a really long time to not really see that much. And I'd much rather have just done a half-day excursion. And then also they did, like, I think it was Troodos or Troodos Mountains with, I think it was the Akamis waterfalls or Adonis waterfalls or something like that, was all in the same area as the Baths of Aphrodite. But the Troodos Mountain thing was a whole day excursion as well. And by this point we'd already done a couple of full day excursions and it was exhausting being out in the heat, but also I wanted to get a bit of a tan. So yeah, obviously if we were to redo it, we probably would have hired a car and then done our own little thing. So it was good, but for me it was a little bit long-winded. It was very tiring, then having such a big meal that late in the day. Surprise, surprise, we fell asleep. So yeah, that was Thursday. Friday, we didn't do anything. There was the opportunity to go and do snorkeling with turtles. However, I have the fear of the water, and I just thought that then having to put my face under the water was all just going to go a bit pear-shaped. So I decided not to do that. And Jack also isn't that keen on the open water, so we didn't do that. And that was fine. We literally just had a day by the pool, which, to be fair, after our Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday being out all day, was welcomed. That was really nice. And oh yeah, so Thursday night we didn't actually go out for dinner at all because we had the big lunch, so we just played Uno. Friday had the chilled day. We then went to Paphos again because there was, opposite Nola, there was this place that was basically like traditional Cypriot meze. So we went there. Online it said that you had to book, but we just took our chances, managed to get a table, and they had 3 different options. They had chicken and pork, vegetarian, well maybe 4 options then actually, vegan, and chicken and beef. And we went for the chicken and pork option, and it was really nice. It was just little dishes of all the traditional Cypriot food. Very filling, very rich, but really nice. We did that Friday, and then Saturday we had another day chilling by the pool. Obviously we checked out of our hotel midday, and then we had our flight. So we were getting picked up at 6:45 in the evening. Our flight wasn't until 10:40. So we originally were going to go out for lunch, but then we just decided that if you do that, you're basically taking up a massive chunk of the day that you're essentially paying for extras to be there anyway, to just be out for lunch. And because our flight was so late in the evening, we said, well, we might as well go for dinner as normal, but maybe a bit earlier, because like we can then have a wash, obviously we can have a bit of a chill time, maximum time by the pool, and realistically we're going to be hungry again at the airport by 10:40. But it all just went a little bit disastrously, because we had a wash and everything about 4:30, but it was like the hottest part of the day, so we were absolutely sweating after we just washed. We then had to get the bus to Coral Bay, and we were eating at like 5 o'clock and we weren't hungry, so we ended up having KFC, and the KFC was really ropey. I would not recommend doing that. Oh my god, it was terrible. We both felt very unwell after it. And actually in hindsight we wish we'd have gone out for lunch, because we could have gone out for a big lunch, then we could have had a later wash, been a bit fresher, because our flight ended up being delayed, surprise surprise. And then we could have maybe even grabbed some snacks to have at the airport, or got food at the airport, not really sure, whatever, but you know, you live and you learn. And yeah, we basically got the transfer at about 10 to 7 from our hotel. So flight home was absolutely dreadful. We had screaming kids in front, next to, behind, every which way you could possibly imagine, the whole flight. Poor Jack had to drive back from the airport, so he was trying to get a little bit of sleep but couldn't. We felt really, really ill from the KFC, so we bought a few snacks at the airport, but it was just junk basically, so that made us feel even worse. So it was a pretty terrible flight, to be honest with you, but it is what it is. We're back now. It's now Wednesday. I'm coming to you doing this little story time. And yeah, there's just a few things that we learnt from the trip. So we're not going to do the shared transfer probably again, because it just eats into so much of your holiday time. I don't know if anybody else does that and finds that, but we decided to do it this time because we weren't getting there until really early hours of the morning the first day, and we were getting back really late. So we just thought, well, we're not gaining any time by the pool by booking our own transfer. However, it just takes so long. Obviously they have to do all the pickups, all the drop-offs, and we always end up being the very last drop-off and the very first pickup, or you know, very near to the start and end. And what should just be a 20-minute journey takes like an hour and a half, and it's just really frustrating. So we're not going to do that anymore. We are just going to book a private transfer, which when we went to Portugal we actually did, because there was Uber. But when we went to Crete and Mallorca, I think Mallorca we got a taxi, and Crete we did the transfer, and we kind of said, oh, next time let's hire a car, but then we never got round to hiring a car this time. And it is pretty tough, because I think the idea of hiring a car is great because you have that freedom to kind of do whatever you want. However, when the public transport is so cheap, it's almost like if you hire a car, you feel obligated to go out and use it because you're paying for it. But then obviously if you're doing that, then you're not spending time at the hotel, which you're also paying for, but also you've then got potentially the stress of having to park it, you've got the additional cost of the fuel, the insurance, that kind of thing. So it's really tricky to kind of know what to do. But I think the optimal thing for us would be to get a private transfer to and from the airport, potentially hire a car just for the odd day here or there if it's reasonably priced, or one of the quad bikes, but just get the public transport because it's cheap enough. So yeah, that's that basically. So yeah, obviously I've inserted some pictures here, so roll those pictures, or maybe I've already done that, but I just thought that I'd give you a little bit of an update, and that's how our trip went. I'm really sorry there wasn't much more footage than we've got, but like I said, we didn't really actually do that much, and the things that we did do, we were with family, so we just were embracing the moment basically. So hope you guys enjoyed, and we will see you soon for another video.